Hey everyone, welcome back. We're diving deep into AI today, and specifically a new player called DeepSeek.
Yeah, DeepSeek.
It's a Chinese-developed AI model, and it's making some pretty bold claims.
Yeah.
And it's got everyone in the tech world kind of buzzing,
Yeah, they are.
trying to figure out, is this the real deal or is it just hype?
Right.
So we've got two great articles to help us unpack all of this, one from FinShots and another from The National.
Okay. Sounds good.
So let's jump right in.
All right.
So one of the things that's really grabbing everyone's attention is DeepSeek's claim that they built this powerful AI model for a shockingly low cost.
Yeah.
Something like $6 million.
$6 million.
Now, that might sound like a lot to you and me.
It does.
But in the world of AI, that's basically like spare change.
Yeah, it's nothing.
Especially when you compare it to the billions that U.S. giants like Google and Microsoft have been pouring into their AI projects.
Yeah, billions with a B.
So 6 million versus billions.
It's a huge difference.
It's a pretty massive difference. So tell me, what exactly are they claiming to have achieved with that $6 million budget? What's all the fuss about?
Well, they're claiming to have developed a foundational AI model, which essentially means it's a very adaptable model that can be used for all sorts of different tasks.
Right.
From generating text and translating languages to, writing different kinds of creative content and answering your questions in a comprehensive and informative way. And get this, the FinShots article actually digs into their technical report, and it suggests that they achieved this incredible cost effectiveness by renting computer chips.
Renting.
For a mere $2 an hour.
$2 an hour.
Oh.
Wow, that's pretty ingenious, renting instead of buying.
Exactly.
Definitely a way to keep those costs down.
For sure.
So does that mean this $6 million figure is the whole story?
Yeah.
Is that the total cost of developing this, like, game-changing AI?
Well, not quite. While renting chips at that rate did bring their expenses down to, around $5.57 million, we have to remember that this figure likely doesn't include other substantial costs that are typically associated with AI development.
Yeah.
Things like research and salaries for their team.
Uh-huh.
And all the trial and error that goes into creating something this groundbreaking.
Makes sense.
Right.
Building a cutting-edge AI, it's definitely more than just renting some computer power.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
There's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes.
That's sure.
So that $6 million figure is impressive, but it's probably just a piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, it's just part of the story. And this is where the skepticism comes in.
Okay.
Researchers are taking a very close look at DeepSeek's claims,
Right.
going through their technical reports with a fine-tooth comb.
Yeah.
They want to verify these cost and performance claims because extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence.
Absolutely. It's like that saying, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. But what's interesting here is that even if those cost-saving claims are a little bit exaggerated, DeepSeek has still managed to create a buzz.
Oh, yeah.
And send some ripples to the tech world.
For sure, they've made a splash.
So what is it about DeepSeek, besides the price tag, that's got everyone talking?
Well, one of the biggest reasons is their decision to go open source.
Okay, so for those of us who aren't deep in the tech world, can you explain what open source means in this context?
Sure.
And why is it such a big deal?
In simple terms, it means that DeepSeek is making the code for their model freely available for anyone to use.
Wow.
To modify and to share.
Okay.
It's like sharing a recipe for a delicious cake instead of keeping it a secret.
Interesting.
Yeah, this is a pretty radical move, especially when you compare it to companies like Google or OpenAI, who guard their AI models like they're precious treasures.
So DeepSeek is basically saying, here's our amazing AI model, go ahead and play with it.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's pretty bold, isn't it?
Hey.
It seems like a major departure from the way things are usually done in the AI world.
It definitely is, and that's why everyone is so intrigued.
Yeah.
Imagine the possibilities developers from all over the world could access DeepSeek's model. They could tweak it.
Yeah.
They could improve it. They could even build upon it. It could potentially lead to a massive surge in AI innovation and collaboration.
That's exciting. It's like they're opening the doors to this giant AI playground where everyone can contribute.
Exactly.
But it also makes you wonder, if it's this cost-effective and now open source, why haven't we seen anything like this from other countries?
That's a great question. And it brings us to some of the geopolitical factors at play in the world of AI. And to really get a grasp of that, we need to understand this concept of protectionism.
Okay, let's dive into that. What is protectionism and how does it relate to DeepSeek and the global AI landscape?
Well, in essence, protectionism refers to policies that countries put in place to shield their domestic industries from competition from foreign companies.
Got it.
It's like building a fence around your own backyard to give your plants a better chance to grow.
So are you saying that protectionist policies might be giving DeepSeek an edge in this AI race?
It's certainly a factor to consider. The Finshots article actually brings up an interesting tweet from @bookworming,
Okay.
who points out that China's protected market might have played a role in DeepSeek's emergence.
Interesting.
Think about it. U.S. companies don't have free rein in the Chinese market,
Right.
which means that Chinese AI developers like DeepSeek have a sort of captive audience.
So they have a ready-made market that's more likely to adopt their technology, even if it's still in its early stages.
Exactly. They don't have to face the same intense competition from those established U.S. players right off the bat,
Right.
which gives them more breathing room to innovate and refine their models.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's like having a head start in a race.
Exactly.
And you're saying this protectionism might be one of the reasons why we haven't seen something like DeepSeek emerge from other countries like India, where U.S. companies can operate more freely.
It's a compelling argument because in a more open market, local AI developers have to compete directly with these global giants who often have much deeper pockets and more resources.
Right.
It creates a very different playing field.
This is all really fascinating.
Yeah.
It's amazing how something like DeepSeek can open up a conversation about so much more than just the technology itself.
It really is.
We're talking about economics, global competition, and even the role of governments in shaping the future of AI.
It's a prime example of how technology and geopolitics are becoming increasingly intertwined.
Yeah.
And it raises a whole host of questions about how this AI landscape will evolve in the years to come.
Well, on that note, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll delve a little deeper onto the technical details of DeepSeek's approach and explore the potential implications of their open source model for the future of AI development.
Sounds good.
All right, so we've talked about DeepSeek's claims about building this powerful AI model for a surprisingly low cost,
Right.
and their bold move to go open source. But let's dig a little deeper into the technical side of things. You mentioned this idea of compute earlier.
Yeah.
Can you break that down for us a bit more? What exactly does that mean in the world of AI?
Sure. Compute is basically the fuel that powers AI development.
Okay.
It refers to the massive amount of processing power that's needed
Right.
to train these large language models. Think of it like the engine of a rocket ship.
Oh,
The bigger and more powerful the engine, the faster and further you can go.
so the more compute you have, the faster and more effectively your AI can learn.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And until recently, the prevailing belief was that you needed access to these incredibly expensive specialized chips to get that kind of compute power. These chips were like the gold standard for AI training.
Right.
And everyone just assumed they were essential for building truly cutting-edge models.
So how did DeepSeek manage to pull this off
Right.
with a limited budget? Did they find some secret stash of discount chips somewhere?
Well, not quite. It
Yeah.
seems they found a clever way to work around that limitation. Remember that detail from the Finshots article about renting chips for just $2 an hour?
Yeah.
Well, that seems to be a key part of their strategy.
Interesting.
Instead of buying those pricey top-of-the-line chips, they opted for a more cost-effective approach by renting them.
It's like renting a powerful sports car for a weekend track day.
Exactly.
Instead of buying one outright, you get the performance you need without that massive upfront cost.
That's a great analogy, and it seems to have worked for them. But keep in mind, even with this clever cost-saving tactic, there's still a lot of skepticism surrounding DeepSeek's claims.
Right. We talked about researchers scrutinizing their reports. So what are they looking for exactly? What are the potential red flags?
Well, one of the main concerns is whether DeepSeek's model can actually deliver on its promises. Just because a model can be trained quickly and cheaply doesn't necessarily mean it can perform at the same level as models that were trained with more resources.
So it's a question of quality versus cost.
Exactly.
Can they really achieve both at the same time?
Right. Researchers are trying to figure out if DeepSeek has made any compromises
Okay.
in terms of accuracy or reliability or the ability to handle complex tasks. There's a lot of fine print to analyze in their technical reports, and it's going to take some time to get a definitive answer.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
We'll have to wait for those research results to really understand the full picture.
Yeah.
But even if DeepSeek's model doesn't quite live up to all the hype, the fact that they've managed to shake things up is pretty significant.
Absolutely.
It's like they've thrown a wrench into the conventional wisdom about AI development.
Right. And remember, DeepSeek isn't just challenging assumptions about cost. they're also changing the game by going open source.
Right.
We haven't really explored the full implications of that yet.
Yeah, let's get back to that.
Yeah.
We talked about how open source could lead to more collaboration and innovation.
Right.
But are there any potential downsides to this approach?
Yeah.
Is there a reason why other companies haven't really gone this route before?
Well, one of the main concerns is the potential for misuse. If a powerful AI model is freely available to anyone, there's always a risk that it could fall into the wrong hands and be used for malicious purposes.
So it's a double-edged sword.
In a way, yes.
More access and innovation, but also more risk.
It's a dilemma that the AI community has been grappling with for some time now.
Yeah.
How do you balance the potential benefits of open access with the need to ensure responsible use? It's not an easy question to answer.
And it's not just about ethical concerns, right?
Right.
There's also business considerations. Why would a company give away its secret sauce, so to speak?
That's a great point. Traditionally, companies have guarded their AI models as valuable intellectual property. You know, they see them as a source of competitive advantage.
Right.
But DeepSeek seems to be betting on a different strategy.
So what's their game plan? Why would they give away something that could be so valuable?
Well, it could be a way to accelerate the development of their model.
Okay.
By making it open source, they're essentially inviting the global AI community to contribute to its improvement.
It's like crowdsourcing AI development on a massive scale.
Precisely. And by fostering a community around their model, they could gain valuable insights and expertise from a diverse range of developers.
So it's not just about altruism.
Right.
It's a strategic move that could potentially benefit them in the long run.
Exactly. It's a fascinating experiment, and it'll be interesting to see if other companies follow their lead.
Well, DeepSeek has certainly given us a lot to think about. They've challenged our assumptions about cost.
Yeah.
They've embraced open source development. And they've sparked a conversation about this complex interplay between technology and geopolitics.
It's a reminder that the world of AI is constantly evolving.
Yeah.
And the future is full of possibilities, both exciting and uncertain.
Speaking of uncertainty, let's shift gears for a moment and talk about the impact DeepSeek has had on the stock market.
Okay.
That trillion-dollar drop you mentioned earlier definitely caught my attention.
Yeah.
Can you tell us more about that? What happened?
Of course. Well, news of DeepSeek's seemingly low-cost breakthrough sent shockwaves through the tech world. And investors reacted pretty swiftly.
Yeah.
The prospect of a new player disrupting the established order triggered a wave of anxiety.
Okay.
And this led to a massive sell-off of tech stocks.
It sounds like investors are worried about DeepSeek shaking things up and potentially, dethroning the current AI giants.
That's a valid interpretation. The market is always sensitive to potential disruptions, and DeepSeek's emergence has definitely raised eyebrows and caused some uncertainty. Investors are trying to assess the long-term implications of this development.
Yeah.
And it seems some are hedging their bets by pulling back from companies that might be vulnerable to DeepSeek's rise.
This whole situation is fascinating. It highlights the incredible power and potential of AI.
It does.
To not only transform industries, but to also influence global markets.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable.
It makes you wonder, though, what does this all mean for the future of AI development?
Well, it's a question that's on everyone's mind right now. Yeah.
If DeepSeek's claims hold true and this efficient open source approach gains traction, we could be on a cusp of a major paradigm shift.
Wow.
In how AI is developed and deployed.
A shift away from the dominance of a few tech giants to a more decentralized and collaborative model.
It's certainly a possibility.
Yeah.
Open source development could empower a much broader range of players to participate in the AI revolution, leading to a more diverse and vibrant ecosystem of innovation.
That sounds both exciting and a little daunting.
It is.
It's hard to predict how it will all unfold.
Yeah.
But it's clear that DeepSeek has injected a dose of unpredictability into the AI landscape.
Absolutely. And that unpredictability is what makes this such a compelling story to follow.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that we're still in the early stages of the AI revolution, and the next chapter is yet to be written.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground in our deep dive into DeepSeek. We've explored their cost-saving claims, the potential and risks of open source AI, the market's reaction,
and even touched on the geopolitical factors at play.
Absolutely.
And it's clear that DeepSeek's emergence has really stirred up a lot of questions about the future of AI.
Absolutely. One of the most pressing questions, I think, is whether DeepSeek's approach represents a genuine breakthrough or if it's just a temporary blip on the radar.
Right.
Will this spark a fundamental shift in the AI landscape, or will things eventually revert back to the status quo?
Yeah, it's hard to say for sure, but it's certainly an intriguing possibility. Imagine a world where AI development becomes more accessible,
Right.
more collaborative,
Uh-huh.
less reliant on massive
Yeah,
resources
absolutely.
that could have a profound impact on everything,
Oh, yeah.
from scientific research to healthcare to the way we live our daily lives.
It's a vision that many in the AI community have been working towards for years, and DeepSeek's emergence has certainly given them a reason to be optimistic. But as with any technological revolution, there are bound to be challenges and unforeseen consequences along the way.
All right, we've already talked about some of the ethical concerns surrounding open source AI and the potential for misuse.
Right.
And there's also the question of whether this approach can truly deliver the same level of performance as those more traditional resource-intensive models.
Those are all valid points, and only time will tell how those will play out.
Yeah.
But even if DeepSeek doesn't single-handedly revolutionize the AI industry, they've undoubtedly made a significant contribution
Right.
by pushing the boundaries of what's possible and challenging the conventional wisdom.
Yeah, it's a reminder that innovation can come from unexpected places
Absolutely.
and that even the most established players can be disrupted.
That's right.
It's a testament to the power of human ingenuity to find creative solutions to complex problems.
Absolutely. And it's also a sign that the global race for AI dominance is heating up,
Yeah.
and the stakes are higher than ever. Countries all over the world are recognizing the transformative potential of AI, and they're investing heavily in research and development.
It's definitely an exciting time to be following this field. It is. And DeepSeek's story is like a microcosm of these larger trends that are shaping the future of AI. So as we wrap up our deep dive today, let's leave our listeners with a few final thoughts to ponder.
Okay, sounds good.
So if DeepSeek's approach proves to be sustainable and effective,
Yeah.
what does this mean for the balance of power in the tech world? Will we see a shift away from the dominance of these few tech giants towards a more decentralized and collaborative model of AI development?
That's a good question.
And what about the impact on society as a whole? As AI becomes more powerful and pervasive,
Right.
how will it reshape our economies, our social structures, and even our understanding of what it means to be human?
Those are big questions.
They are a big question.
And there are no easy answers,
You know?
but they're definitely questions worth grappling with as we navigate this uncharted territory.
So to our listener, we encourage you to keep exploring this fascinating topic.
Yes.
Stay curious about the ever-evolving world of AI. DeepSeek story is just one chapter in a much larger narrative, and it's a story that's still being written.
Right.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and we'll see you next time.